Hey, what up, everyone? This is Ferd with another stock market report for you guys, September 2025. This will be my last one for the month, but I want to get out something before the end of the week. We have an important inflation report coming out tomorrow. If you guys do like these videos, please hit that like button, subscribe to all your friends. I think we only had about 40 views on the last one. Previous one was like 400, so I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, but I wanted to put out this report for the people that do appreciate these videos, just to kind of give them some caution, some things to look at. I know the market's gotten pretty frothy lately, and I had some things to kind of wonder, specifically the crypto and crypto related companies and just stocks in general. So let's get into it. All right, first off, we've had Bitcoin, ETH, they've all been red this past week. It's not been a very good thing. And now, in my previous video, I was kind of talking about how crypto, a lot of people are up a lot of percentages from, this past year. So let's take a look at Bitcoin first. So, today, the short-term look at it, right? We were at 115,000 last week, which again was pretty low comparative to when we were at our, all-time highs around August of 122. And since then, it's just been kind of just slow kind of burn. We had the Fed come out last week and popped up stuff a little bit. Treasuries were good, all that. But, today we're trading at 109,000. We're down 3.63% for the past 4 or 5 days. It's not looking great for crypto. Now let's take a look at Ethereum real quick. Give me a second here. Ethereum. So ETH, that's down even worse. We're below 39.01. That's not looking too good for the crypto play Ethereum, which we are very heavily, betting on here. Last week we're at 4,500. It was just kind of trying to creep up, and this past week it just hasn't been doing very well. But kind of concerning. I'll be honest, it's not the best kind of news I wanted to hear. I thought short term we would bounce up a little bit, but it looks like inflation's kind of hitting crypto and currencies in general. I don't know if this is a short-term storm, or is this like, are we going to see more? There hasn't been a ton of volume, which is a little bit concerning on the potential for more downside. On the flip side, though, you could look at it as, well, these are retail investors. This isn't like a huge amount of huge funds as far as liquidity is concerned. I don't know if it's leverage, what have you, but it is something to kind of look after. I know that the jobs report news was great for the economy. It wasn't great for investments because the 10-year went up today almost 4.2%, which is hitting mortgage rates, as you guys all know. Not a very good thing. You don't want to see that. I was listening to Jim Cramer earlier today. He seems to think that stocks are pretty frothy. Now let's take a look at some stocks. For example, let's just look at a couple of that I'm still very, very optimistic on, but they have come down quite a bit from their highs. So obviously you guys know how much I love Reddit. 246 back in August was pretty high. But the run up this past week with their AI deal with Google, it was at 282. I did talk about investing in Reddit. I still am very long-term invested in Reddit. But for me, this big drop on the 22nd, yeah, that sucks, right? But I'm not shocked. I do think it's a little bit frothy. I even thinking into the October earnings report, it's probably going to hit maybe 200 just based off just an assumption that things are just kind of gone ahead of itself. The PE ratio here is pretty high. 205 price earnings ratio. That's really high. But, whereas a lot of the growth come from AI and tech. So specifically AI. Crypto today is a digital, but just kind of, things in general, why they're red. I think crypto is viewed as just digital gold, essentially. And it's not looked at as long-term view of making the markets kind of sink like they did back in the 70s when the greenback went off the gold standard. And I kind of put this Wall Street cheat sheet psychology of a market cycle. I don't know if we're here. I don't know if we're there. It could be kind of at this point. I'm hoping more so we're at this point, but who knows? The market's been super frothy. Long-term rates haven't come down, which I think also has an effect on stocks in general. And what the Fed said this past week, man, that's not really helping stocks either. And what did the Fed say? he said that stocks are a little bit overvalued, and you did see a slight sell-off on the talk that Fed President Powell did state, and I actually kind of agree with him. I mean, you got Costco at 55 price earnings ratio. I'm not sure. I just picked that out of my butt, but let's take a look. I mean, Costco, a big retailer, right? They're not supposed to trade like a tech stock, but as you can see, PE ratio, I mean, at 55 for Costco, that's super high. So Costco's supposed to, go 55 times, it's priced at 55 times forward earnings. I mean, that's crazy. The stock's only down $8. So it tells me one thing. One, I would never buy Costco at that price point, but I look at Costco differently than someone who's going to buy it at 55 bucks a share. They're probably thinking good long-term investment. It's a great dividend stock. I don't really want to watch the market. I don't mind if it goes down to 500. I'll just buy more shares there. But I mean, for me, as someone who likes to get in front of stocks and doesn't really want to, I mean, what's going to hit, what's Costco going to, what's going to hit Costco? They're going to have to increase their, their fees for the VIP or for the membership to really get it going. But to trade at 55 price earnings ratio, that's like a tech stock. And I do not like that out of Costco specifically. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. And as far as me, the case to wait, I think I'm going to wait a little bit. I mean, Ethereum could hit 3,500. Bitmine, something I'm still very bullish on because of the mechanism of Bitmine, not so much the cryptocurrency treasury side of it. It hasn't really gone down along with Ethereum as you thought it would. And I mean, it could go down to 41 if we see Ethereum hit 3,500. So with that, I'm not really buying anything right now. In fact, I'm not buying anything at all, period. I want to see if this continuation of the stock market going down is because of what Fed Powell said. I want to see the inflation report that comes out tomorrow. The jobs report news, which is great for the economy. I mean, there are less there are less jobless claims claimed this past week. So that sent the stock market down a little bit lower and bond rates higher as longer term bonds. That's not, we got another key inflation report coming out tomorrow. If it comes in hot, I mean, people are going to sell stock. They're going to sell crypto. You may see Reddit down to 220, which again, I mean, I'm still up 120, 40 points. So, but again, I'm not putting more money into the stock market. I want to see what happens. And you see this like in very toppy type of markets. I mean, S&P is at, I don't even know it's at, like, I don't really watch the S&P as like a whole, but I mean, the S&P 500 is, it's really high. I mean, it's at NYSE. Where the heck is it? Okay, well, we'll go back to that later. Hold on. I mean, yeah, the S&P 500 is near 6660. So I don't know what's going to push it higher. We're going to need lower rates. I mean, tariffs are still, economists are saying that tariffs haven't hit the overall inflation report yet. We're going to stay at 3%. Well, the Fed's target's 2%. So it's a full 33%. It needs to go down another full percentage point lower, 33% over the 33. It's just kind of crazy. So there's still a lot of data that needs to come out. There's uncertainty with how the Fed's going to react. Longer term rates, we don't know. And inflation is another concern. If employment numbers come in bad again in October, that could hit inflation again. But there are fears again of stagflation, which is never a good thing. So on to the next. Now the bullish case, right? I think a lot of companies like Costco are overvalued. I do think that the frothiness of AI creates stocks like Oracle, which is down today. Nvidia, of course, it's not super frothy. That's not like one. Apple, I would say, isn't necessarily frothy, but it trades at almost 30 times price earnings. And I mean, we haven't even, we don't know what the economy is going to do with the iPhone. I wouldn't buy Apple at 255. I'd probably just buy like a share just to have a position, but I wouldn't mind it at 220 if it's trading at like 22, 23 price earnings ratio. With that said, I think AI stock related companies have put, or not think, they have put 70% of earnings growth into stocks since 2022. That was off of, I think Jim Cramer said that yesterday. And I think CNBC reiterated that with their call with Tom Lee. Now, if you think about that, that's a lot of concentrated growth in the S&P. in only a very small segment of the economy and a newer set of the economy. Now, there have been talks of like a bubble, much like, the tech bubble in the early 2000s, but I don't know. I mean, for sure, there are companies that will not come out of this. I think companies like robotic companies like Serve, and even drone companies like Red Cat may not survive the next 3 to 5 years, because they're definitely, I mean, if the spending stops and it's only segmented to specific companies, then it's not like those companies are going to get gobbled up. That never happens. They're just going to go away. It's different from banking, but I mean, it's definitely some concern. I mean, if you're looking to invest in companies right now, just because you want a position, you feel like you missed out on FOMO, maybe wait for the S&P 500 to drop to 6,400, or get really small increments of stocks. Like I'm talking like one every 2 weeks, and just see how the stock moves. I'm in a couple speculative stocks, but it's because I've gone in really low on some other companies that I can take risk. I would say if you're starting today, if you're watching this video today and you haven't hit that like button, hit it. But if you want to start position now, just going really low and going with like an Nvidia, but going small, because we could see a turn in the market very soon. I wouldn't make this video if I didn't think that was the case, but it is a possibility for sure. So what do you do? Again, I think you wait. There's a little shuffling needed here with AI growth and with just money being parked, in areas. I think a lot of people are concerned about just their overall expenses. And so, I mean, make cutbacks like, in stuff you just can't afford. I do think that cruise line companies are going to do a lot better than thought of prior to. People still want to be entertained. They still have a little discretionary money to do so. However, I think people are being more or pessimistic or cautious about what they spend their money on, not going on those lavish vacations or going to really high-end areas. Again, I think if you're going to invest in companies, you want to have companies that have a strong balance sheet. And if there are, other types of companies that are high in cash, because they're not going to be affected really by macroeconomic type of things. But I definitely stay cautious out there. As far as like what our crypto and Ethereum treasury stocks are concerned, my thesis still holds true with BMNR. So if it drops down to 45 or 40, I'm going to pick up more. If it drops down to 35, I may halt some of the buys there. But it's traded at 49 right now. Tom Lee is a genius. It's a long-term play for me, 3 to 5 years. I still think it's going to be a $150 stock. That is BMNR. But I just want to share this quick video with you guys. Be cautious out there. If you're going to speculate on stocks, do not put more than 20% of your portfolio as of right now, just because one, your entry price is probably really frothy, and two, you could be totally wrong. I think robotic stocks are kind of a tough one to have if you don't have a 5 to 10 year horizon, because Tesla right now is the top one to go after that market. But they're the only one I can really be like very specific on a good recommendation for it. ACHR, I know is a pretty fun stock. I think it's kind of overvalued, but the inroads that they're making, they have made the past like couple years. I think they're like the number 2 robotics company that I would invest in. I wouldn't invest in Serve. It's just a tiny little robot that goes from the sidewalk and delivers, random food stuff. And I wouldn't get into any, drone companies per se. The easy ones to kind of go after are the ones that have government backing. So like Intel's been up 32 to 32 bucks, almost a 30% gain over the past, like year or so. But I wouldn't get into that company. MP Materials, I think, is a little highly overvalued. You kind of missed the run there, but those are the kind of plays you want to get into. If this administration is trying to make stakes or take stakes into companies, you may find a little bit of like a run and ride that wave. But it's not really a trade for me. But if people ask me what I'm speculating on or what I would speculate on, I would watch out for those type of companies. Anyways, hope you guys all liked the video. Hit that like button, subscribe, tell your friends, leave a comment in the comment section below. I'll keep doing these videos as long as I get some views on it, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.